Hello, friends. Aloha. Welcome back. I'm Jacqueline Claire, and we are reading the January 18th, 2019 letter from the Universal House of Justice on world peace. And this is the third video in this series going through the letter. So I will be jumping into paragraph 5, which I have titled Social Evolution. Universal peace is the destination towards which humanity has been moving throughout the ages, under the influence of the Word of God that has been progressively imparted by the Creator to His creation. Shoghi Effendi described humanity's advance towards a new global stage in its collective life in terms of social evolution. Quote, an evolution that has had its earliest beginnings in the birth of family life, in subsequent development in the achievement of tribal solidarity, leading in to the constitution of the city-state and expanding later into the institution of independent and sovereign nations, end quote. Now, with the coming of Baha'u'llah, the human race stands on the threshold of its maturity. World unity is finally possible. A global order that unifies the nations with the assent of humanity is the only adequate answer to the destabilizing forces that threaten the world. Paragraph 6. However, though world unity is possible, nay, inevitable, it ultimately cannot be achieved without unreserved acceptance of the oneness of humankind. Isn't that interesting? World unity is inevitable, but it cannot be achieved without unreserved acceptance of the oneness of humankind, described by the Guardian as, quote, the pivot round which all the teachings of Baha'u'llah revolve, the oneness of humankind. With what insight and eloquence did he expound upon the far-reaching implications of this cardinal principle? Plainly, he saw, amidst the turbulence of world affairs, how the reality that humanity is one people must be the starting point for a new order. The reality that humanity is one people must be the starting point for a new order. The vast array of relations among nations and within them all need to be re-envisaged in this light. Humanity is one, y'all. Paragraph 7, I wrote, how unity. The realization of such a vision will require sooner or later an historic feat of statesmanship from the leaders of the world. Alas, the will to attempt this feat is still wanting. Humanity is gripped by a crisis of identity as various peoples and groups struggle to define themselves, their place in the world, and how they should act. So interesting. Define themselves, their place in the world, and how they should act. Without a vision of shared identity and common purpose, they fall into competing ideologies and power struggles. That has so many implications. Without a vision of shared identity and common purpose, they fall into competing ideologies and power struggles. Seemingly countless permutations of us and them define group identities ever more narrowly and in contrast to one another. Over time, this splintering into divergent interest groups has weakened the cohesion of society itself. Rival conceptions about the primacy of a particular people are peddled to the exclusion of the truth that humanity is on a common journey in which all are protagonists. We are all active agents. Consider how radically different such a fragmented conception of human identity is from the one that follows from a recognition of the oneness of humanity. In this perspective, the diversity that characterizes the human family, far from contradicting its oneness, endows it with richness. Unity in its Baha'i expression contains the essential concept of diversity, distinguishing it from uniformity. It is through love for all people and by subordinating lesser loyalties to the best interests of humankind that the unity of the world can be realized and the infinite expressions of human diversity find their highest fulfillment. The infinite expressions of human diversity find their highest fulfillment. Paragraph 8. The purpose of religion is peace. Those are my notes. Fostering unity by harmonizing disparate elements and nurturing in every heart a selfless love for humankind is the task of religion. What is the task of religion? Fostering unity by harmonizing disparate elements and nurturing in every heart a selfless love for humankind. Great possibilities to cultivate fellowship and concord are open to religious leaders, but the same leaders can also incite violence by using their influence to stoke the fires of fanaticism and prejudice. Very interesting point, and I have a note in here that says, why are they bringing this up? And feel free to comment if you know of something that I'm not connecting this to, but I thought this was interesting. Writing of religion, Baha'u'llah's words are emphatic. Make it not, he warns, the cause of dissension and strife. Peace for all who dwell on earth is one of the principles and ordinances of God. End quote. Paragraph 9, I wrote, if you care, ... At the heart that has embraced love for the whole of humanity will certainly, a heart that has embraced love for the whole of humanity will certainly be pained when confronted by the suffering that so many endure because of disunity. But the friends of God cannot shut themselves off from the increasing turmoil of the society that surrounds them. They must guard themselves too from becoming enmeshed in its conflicts or falling into its adversarial methods. Baha'is must guard themselves from becoming enmeshed in the conflicts or falling into its adversarial methods. No matter how bleak conditions may appear at any given time, no matter how dismal the immediate prospects for bringing about unity, there is no cause for despair. The distressing state of the world can only spur us to redouble our commitment to constructive action. Quote, these are not days of prosperity and triumph, cautions Baha'u'llah. Quote, the whole of humankind is in the grip of manifold ills. Strive, therefore, to save its life through the wholesome medicine which the almighty hand of the unerring physician hath prepared. That concludes paragraph 9 of the January 18th, 2019 letter from the Universal House of Justice. Alaupa friends, go out there and make the world a better place and think about ways to elevate conversation and promote unity and the oneness of humankind.